Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of Indie Book Review, where today I am reviewing another traditionally published book. This is actually a much older book. This is And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. Let's get into this. Alright, the plot. And Then There Were None is about 10 people who were summoned to Soldier Island to for a grand number of reasons. They all get there, and then they're all accused of murder. And then, as their time goes on, one by one, they each end up dying. And that's the book. And throughout the book, you're just continually wondering who's the killer and who's going to be next. And I know that explanation is not the best, but if I'm being perfectly honest, that's really all the explanation you need. Like, that explanation alone is all I had, more or less, going into this book. And that is literally all you need. This book is a mass of intrigue and mystery. The sort that you would expect from someone like Agatha Christie, which I've only ever read one other book of hers, which was Murder on the Orient Express, which was back in junior high. So I don't really remember much about that one either. I remember who the killers were, but moving on. The plot is absolutely fantastic. It's not something that can really be explained without going into major spoiler territory, so I'm just going to give plot a 5 out of 5. It's fantastic. The characters. For a book containing 10 characters that you're supposed to get to know very quickly and get attached to fairly quickly, it does a good job of that. Like, the first few deaths, you really don't care too much because you don't really know them, but as the book progresses, you get to know these characters. You get to know who they are and why they're guilty of murder, who they killed. And from there, you really get to know and love these characters. And which makes each death just that little bit harder to bear. And they all have their own voice. Like, you definitely know who's talking throughout the book. So, characters get a 5 out of 5. It's just fantastically well done. The writing. Do I even have to say this? It's Agatha freaking Christie. It's a 5 out of 5. Imagination and research. Yeah, tons of imagination, lots of research. Like, I don't know how I can really get into this. Like, it's an Agatha Christie book. You can't talk about this without spoilers. So, all in all, yeah. Imagination and research, 5 out of 5. Big shock, right? And now we get to the ending. This is the part that makes or breaks a mystery book, which is also the reason why I tend to not particularly care for mystery books. This book, not only did I not get who the killer was, I was actually managing to follow clues well enough to figure out who the last person was going to be. Which you think would be the killer. But you'd be wrong. You would be very wrong. So yeah. Just sit on that one. And because I didn't figure it out, and it actually threw me for a loop, and when it went through the explanation, I'm like, oh shit, why didn't I see that? That's actually clever. The ending gets a 5 out of 5. Like, it's just very, 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 very well done. I actually plan on reading more Agatha Christie because of this book. And if her other books are this quality of just amazing, there's a very good chance that she might end up being one of my favorite authors of all time because of it. I am already so impressed by this book that, yeah, I want to read more of hers. And, I've read books by famous authors. I've read books that so many other people are like, dude, you have to read this book. You have to read this book. It's so good. And then me go, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's okay. I didn't like it. This one lives up to its hype. Full force. Full bore. You gotta read it. It's so good. 10 out of 10. End of discussion. So have I sold that one on you enough? All right. Have a good one, folks.